On a previous episode, I took on AI-generated art to see if I could create something better than what the computer had done. Well, I am once again challenging the digital neural network for art supremacy. G'day everyone, I'm Hockey, the Adhock artist, and on this channel, I like to do crazy art challenges. I had my children go through a website called Prompt Library to search for any artworks they liked from that site, and then they would get the prompt that was used to generate that art and they'd send it to me to see if I could draw it. I've looked through these prompts and I've found one that I think I might try. So the prompt is space cats, spelt with a K, unfortunately. Space cats, UFO flying on a spaceship. In the style of black and white realism, canine core, forest punk, illuminated visions, playful innocence, animal intensity, chiaroscuro, contrast. I have no idea what half of these things mean. Hey, Microsoft AI, what is canine core?
Canine core is an aesthetic trend that draws inspiration from canines, particularly dogs. It encompasses various aspects related to dogs, their behavior, and their visual appeal. Remember that canine core is primarily an artistic and aesthetic trend, and people engage with it in various ways, whether it's through fashion, art, or personal expression.
Wait. That sounds like a forest! What is forest punk?
Forest punk is an aesthetic that belongs to the naturecore family. It shares similarities with cottagecore, emphasizing a deep connection to nature and mutual support. Here are some key aspects of forest punk. Activities: hunting, fishing, trapping, wood carving, chopping firewood, bird calling and howling, tree climbing, collecting natural materials, building and sculpting.
Really? Living off the land is called forest punk? And what's with all this core stuff? Weird. Okay, let's go see what I come up with. So what I've started doing is I've put down some thumbnails and drawing within the thumbnails just to try and get an idea. I've got the words at the top so I can look at that whenever I need to reference them. From these thumbnails, I put down 4 squares, but I actually tried only 3 of them. When I got to the third one, it gave me enough ideas so I could combine the first one and the third one to come up with the idea that I wanted. Now with the idea in mind, I had the idea of the big spaceship coming in from outer space into a clearing where these canine humanoids are staring up at this ship coming in. The ship is the motif of a cat. I tried something a little different with this one. Normally what I would do when I'm creating a piece is I would do rough line work, really scribbly line work to put in my areas of interest, and I'd start to slowly flesh those out. With this piece, I started doing it in a paint-like style where I was blotching in big shapes and then bringing it back to some line work and then starting to paint over the top of that. It's not my usual method of how I go about creating art. Being more of a comic book style line work illustrator, trying this method doesn't feel quite comfortable for me. However, it's always nice to try and break out of the patterns that I am in, and that's what I tried to do here. Now again, this is not my normal style. What I would normally do is I would put the colors, or in this case the black and white, underneath the line work. So you'd always see the line work on top. The colors would be a flat image or a flat color for each section of the illustration, and then I would start to put the shadows and highlights over that. This one I kind of just went straight in with the shadows and the lighting, and that is probably why I feel a little disconnect from that, because I did not do it in my normal sequence. So with my idea for this piece, I wanted to do the spaceship cat. Now, the prompt was UFO cats flying in a spaceship, and I decided that the cat would be a spaceship cat. So inside there could be these cats flying this spaceship. I went with the idea that the people on the ground were the canines. That's where my canine core comes into, and that they are living off the land in a forest, wooden cabin. This is kind of their open area in front of their cabin with lots of woods. Now, I didn't have a great deal of time to keep working on this picture. So if I could have spent a week on this. I could have put in like a big area that they use, maybe vehicles or horses or something like that, just to add to it. But I had a limited amount of time, so this is kind of what I came up with for that limited time. Now, I had some little issues with some composition as well, which I did end up keeping these problems in the end. My original idea for the composition was that it was going to follow the Fibonacci spiral. The Fibonacci spiral is just a method used for composition, like the rule of thirds and things like that. So it comes in this shape like a spiral of a shell, and slowly with the final focus on the spaceship itself. Now, when I mentioned I did not like the composition, I feel like I could have done something with the little girl holding the teddy bear. It could have been a lot better if maybe I scooped that tree line down further so she was actually more silhouetted by the skyline rather than her sort of lost in the tree line there. I wanted to create these vents that come off the front of the cat that streams smoke out to make it look like whiskers coming off the front of the cat. So I've put these ports into the front and created this smoke. First, the smoke did not look right, but I came back and attacked it again and put in a different set of smoke to make it look a little bit more natural for the piece. Because I had a strong light source coming from the left side of the painting, I need to incorporate that within the smoke itself. And you can see there's the reflection, or like a dull metallic look to the cat ship itself. So we needed to make sure that the light all reflected, or the light came in or from the same space. The background is one of my weaknesses, and maybe in a future video, maybe I will attempt some background stuff. Bob Ross, I'm coming for you, buddy. Oh, that sounds terrible. Sorry, Bob.
Well, there we have it. I could have actually noodled along with this drawing a lot more. I'm not a painter. I was trying something a little different with this particular piece of artwork, and it didn't really work out for me, unfortunately. I actually should have stuck with my normal style of drawing and just went through the motions of that to create something a little better. But it is what it is. Now let's see what happens when I pit it against the AI. What did the AI generate? Okay, Space Cats UFO. What? Okay, that's pretty cool though. Where's the canine? Okay, forest. We're in a forest. Is that a car? There's cats being sucked up into space on a spaceship. I did forget the chiaroscuro thing. It is when you'll see artists like Rembrandt. They do this thing where there's a single light source and everything else is sort of black. So it's just this one light source, like a candle, illuminating quite strongly onto the figure, and then the rest of it's black. I didn't really do that with my piece. This one, they put in the black. I guess that is that chiaroscuro thing. Okay, look, it's not bad. I don't get any sense of canine core. I don't know what that. Forest punk, it's in a forest. I at least had, someone living in the forest. It's not too bad. So you decide who did better. If you thought that I did or the AI did, let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, if you have any other challenges you'd like to see me attempt, pop them in there too. Please get an AI assistant to help you. Click the like button. And while you're there, please subscribe if you haven't already. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with me today. You have an awesome day, and I will catch you later.